Now, my personal encounter was with the railroad station. They built a tall wooden fence there, and nobody was permitted to approach the fence. The word was out that they had machine guns lined up alongside the fence and the street, which paralleled the railroad tracks. But even then, you see, I was not so much afraid of the machine guns as, my discipline. I did not have permission to sneak up on the railroad station. I had permission to go and get something from the city, buy something. But I sneaked up to the fence, and I was in my cassock. So I really stood out there because I looked left and right, but I didn't see anybody, even soldiers. So, and I found a hole there. It was a raw wood fence. And that was the day when I saw my train, my deportee train. And it just must have pulled into the station. That I see with great clarity, no difficulty of recall at all, colors, everything. It was a cattle train, and right in front of me, just about 2 tracks from the fence, stood one of the wagons. I could see some more because the hole was large, and it was just opened. It was opened by an SS soldier. That I noticed. Those were already German soldiers. I didn't see Hungarians there. And it was, the impression was terrible because it was terribly packed. I literally saw what you see in pictures, mothers with children, and people and old people and little children, and all. The impression was terrifying. It was really packed, compressed. And one man immediately jumped off. And I always remembered his face because he looked a little bit like my father, and he must have been something like mid-40s, closing on 50. I did not hear what he said to the German soldier, to that SS soldier, but his behavior was polite. He jumped off, and my feeling was, my instinct, or what I made out, that he was asking for water. And immediately that SS soldier, with the club of his rifle, clapped him down, and several times, to insensitivity, whether he died or whether he was later put on the track. And then I ran away. I was so scared and I was so upset. I never saw anything like this in my life. I simply ran away. And, this, I see it personally as the greatest tragedy of my life. That, there Jewish people were deported around me. I didn't do anything. I panicked. Not even panic, not even fear. I just didn't know what to do. Now, my second direct experience was the crying in the night. It was summertime, and it was one of those very, very quiet nights. And I could not sleep for some reason, and there was enough moisture in the air. We were quite far from the railroad station, but somehow there must have been enough moisture to carry sounds. And I woke up to a sound of many people. My impression was literally thousands of people crying. I didn't know what it was first. It was a terrifying impression. And then I realized this is the sound of people crying. I remember even reflecting, that must be children, women, men, everybody, because it was that kind of a chorus, wailing and crying. And next morning, I talked to the several other people who were still left in the our Jesuit house and asked them if they heard something, our housekeeper, our custodian, and they all said that they heard it. And I think it was the custodian, a gardener, a janitor, who told me that those were the Jewish people crying because at our station, the Hungarian gendarmerie handed them over to the SS troops to be deported to Germany. And sometimes when this happened, the people would start to cry, and that would spread to the whole train. And this is what we heard that night. I didn't know about the death camps as such at that time. And I didn't know about the ovens, the burning. But I personally, at that moment, I felt a persuasion coming up on me that these people will be all killed. And again, you see, this is where I stress what I am trying to say. I wish I could live my life. Today, maybe I would be ready to then run in front of the train and lay down. And I don't want to sound dramatic. Maybe I would have, today I would call out or protest or risk being shut down or clapped down. And at that time, I was immobilized. It was just, a feeling, not even a feeling of what can I do? There is nothing to do. Just running away, simply running away. It was beyond my experience. I was utterly unprepared.